these past 57 days. You've had a spotlight that's been shined on you, and sometimes that's not very fun. So that's why I brought you some Coca-Colas. A little peace offering, a little brightener for your evening, because I don't think it's going to be very fun either. I would like to use my time to tell you 3 stories which I think might be illustrative of the juncture that we find ourselves at. The first story that I want you to think about is Comcast. Nobody likes them. Everybody hates their customer service. But for cable, that's what you've got for a choice. But their service is horrible. People don't trust them. They just make people cringe. They have a monopoly on the cable market around here. That is, until people got fed up with the status quo of ickiness. Then, things like Hulu and Amazon Fire Stick and Apple TV and so many other options started happening. And Comcast lost market share as people ditched their cable for non-traditional options. What I'm getting at with this illustration is, if you want to keep and attract your customers, do not assume that your monopoly on the market will do the trick. You've got to give excellent service. You've got to be top-notch at giving the best service with friendly faces, no matter what your monopoly you think is. The second case is this, Coca-Cola. In 1985, Coca-Cola was the leading soda seller on the market, but they were seeing erosion in their market share to Pepsi, so their leadership decided that they couldn't keep losing market share and hatched a brilliant plan. They introduced new Coke to capture more market share. They stopped selling the original Coke. However, the elimination of what had made Coke great created a huge negative, even hostile reaction. There was some acceptance of the new formula for some drinkers. However, there were many more who resented the change and were not shy about making that known. And that was even before social media. Groups were formed against the new Coke formula. It was mocked on late night TV. Really bad publicity. Following the new Coke introduction, only 13% of those polled said they preferred new Coke. Pepsi gained 14% in sales increases. So the change actually had folks leaving the long-standing premier of the soda market. Just 3 months after the new Coke launch, Coca-Cola's executives and their board of directors announced the return to the original Coke formula. Donald Keogh, the CEO, said, "The simple fact is that all the time and money and skill poured into consumer research on the new Coca-Cola could not measure or reveal the deep and abiding emotional attachment to original Coca-Cola felt by so many. 30 years later, Coca-Cola still lives with the new Coke lesson," said their spokesperson. 30 years ago, we introduced new Coke with no shortage of hype and fanfare, and it did succeed in shaking up the market, but not in the way it was intended. When we look back, this was the pivotal moment where we learned that fiercely loyal customers, not the company, own Coca-Cola and all our brands. It is a lesson that we take seriously and one that becomes clearer and more obvious with each passing anniversary. The key here is that Coca-Cola realized that their customers, their public, own Coca-Cola. They now offer them a variety of choice, but they never forget that it's the customers who are in the driver's seat. The final lesson is from Grand Prairie Independent School District in Texas. I have their information here. They were faced with a budget deficit of $15 million, which was due to compressed state funding and new charter schools within the district's boundaries. They had an elementary school that was looking at closure due to low enrollment. They had neighborhoods that were graying. They were faced with a dilemma all too familiar to us here in Stillwater. Their superintendent and leadership went around the state of Texas looking at best practices and began to really think outside the box. The result? They got the community and administration and board to work together on an outside-the-box idea. They all worked together on something that hadn't been done in Texas or anywhere else before. Their results? They increased enrollment by 800 students over the course of 3 years. 800, can you even imagine? They pulled students from across neighboring districts and from private and charter schools. They have wait lists right now to attend their schools. The superintendent was named the Superintendent of the Year of the Texas Association of School Boards and the Texas Association of School Administrators.
You're going to short your other people. That's the
All
only
right.
reason I keep saying that, because we have to start at 6:30. But yeah, if you want to share that, I'll certainly.
Let's think outside the box.
Yep.
Otherwise, just enjoy your Coca-Cola and go with that.
Thank you very much.